Welcome, data enthusiasts. We are Zuma, the recruitment agency focused 100% on data tech professionals in and around the Berlin region. And this is our podcast, Data for Good, connecting you with all things data. And today, a little bit different, we're joined by Mariia Meleshko. She is lead of data and process mining of finance operations at Zalando. Mariia, welcome.
Thank you, Joseph. It's nice to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Hey, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And thank you for joining us. And it's an interesting one because it's a slightly different perspective. Today, I understand you'd like to talk about how data people can work best with you finance people and vice versa. So how those two stakeholder groups can work best together. Did I can that or coin that correctly?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, super. Well, give us your context then.
For the last 7 years, I've been working as a finance person with data projects, let's say in this way. And I worked in different companies in different positions, but my roles were always like translator or interpreter role between finance teams and data teams. So during these years, I've noticed many interesting things about collaboration and way of working, and I have something to say about it.
Oh, right. Okay, great. Okay, before we get into that then, give us a few examples of the kind of activities or interactions, or give us a few examples of the activities that finance people do that impact the data team.
Usually it's about projects where finance teams need some data solutions, or when sales or marketing teams need data, financial data in their solutions. So this is where I start doing some things and some magic to connect all dots and to speak with data people, with business people, and try to find a way to achieve goals of stakeholders.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. What in these activities with those various stakeholder groups where you perform your magic, what are, where data is concerned, what are the unique factors or challenges for the data team members when they work with your finance team members?
I think most challenges are coming from the specific of data in finance in general. For example, it's data accuracy, first of all, because financial data needs high quality and 100% of data. We cannot lose some values. We should keep all values in our data set, even if they look like outliers, for example, we cannot exclude them. And here we also have a challenge, which is data security, because financial data is quite sensitive data. And when we start some developments, we need to make sure, first of all, that we provide access for right developers, not for all developers we have in the company. And we should take care about access rights. Sometimes we cannot provide access to the whole data set to all team members. Sometimes we should split it by business units or by cost centers, profit centers. Yeah, and from the beginning, we should think about it to make it feasible in the end to differentiate these access rights. Yeah, and usually financial data needs to be connected with data from other from different source systems. So usually it's something from ERP systems like SAP, some CRM systems where we keep information about sales orders, sales teams, and our partners. and some other systems. Sometimes it's even some manual files. That's why we should take care about integrity. Yeah, we should understand that we will need to maintain this connection, and we will need to keep this connection working all the time without any interruptions, or at least take care about data quality and some notifications if something goes wrong.
Okay. So the unique factors that our data people need to consider when working with you finance people is data accuracy. It's unique to finance. Other business areas might not be as critically impacted. And then the other main topic was around security, particularly around user access and I'm guessing privacy. Privacy rights or user access rights and privacy. Okay, super. All right, thanks for sharing them. And yeah, I would agree. So considering those critical topics, what are the differences in the ways of working across different disciplines? What are the differences in the ways of working and also the demands across the different disciplines? And I'm referring to finance disciplines and data team disciplines.
I think in terms of ways of working, here maybe we don't have so many differences if you would compare it, for example, with some data solutions for sales departments. So in general, it's always about the same, I would say. We should speak same language, or we should invite some translator who would help to build communication between financial people and data people. Because what do financial people see and what can they describe is what they can see in their interface. When they prepare functional specifications, they can tell you, okay, I opened this transaction in SAP, I press this button and that button. And this part should be translated to table name, column name, dependencies between tables in SAP and other source systems that we need to connect. So here it's crucial to understand that we need to pay attention to this translation. We cannot just take, invoice value and consider only one column, because in SAP we have at least 3 columns with invoice values, but they're in different currencies, so we need to know which one to select. So here we need to challenge each other. I mean, data people and financial people, they need to ask questions and really try to go to the point and be specific in what they want to put to functional text specification in the end. So communication and common language is quite crucial here, I would say.
So let's focus on that one, because that's a big one in itself. Data people and the skills required for data people these days is to have that relatability and understanding of different departments that they work with. Are you suggesting that there's already a disconnect? Maybe that finance people, they see things literally, they read numbers literally, and they take from set systems, and there almost isn't a translation. They take it from a system and they put it into another system, and that's how it should be. Are you suggesting that there's and I'm not trying to be antagonistic, but are you suggesting that there is a disconnect between the translation between the two teams?
In my experience, it happened many times because when we define roles and responsibilities, there's a business or finance team which is responsible for functional specification. And data teams usually take these specifications and just start implementing something. So what I want to say is that please try to challenge requirements, ask questions, do not read it as it is. yeah, just to step up to the responsibility area of finance team. And same story for finance team. When you see that something is implemented, pay attention for validations, challenge it, ask questions about some technical details, maybe, even if it's not your area of responsibility. But if you separate it by border, then something could be missed in this thin borderline. That's why we need to jump in a little bit to each other area and challenge each other.
I get it. Communication and translation. So both sides of the wall, if you like, the finance side and the data side, they need to have those analysis, like business analysis skills, asking the right questions, looking more deeply, and analyzing what they see and asking about it if they don't fully understand. Okay, so far you've identified one of the differences, and that is translations, and a way to get over that is certain communication strategies. What other differences in the ways of working have you observed?
So I would say it goes from our background or our team members' background. When technical or data people speak from backend perspective, I would say, tables, fields, definitions, type of data, and so on. And finance people are tending to speak from end result perspective, or from steps that they're doing in the system and trying to repeat the steps. And if we do not communicate about possible solutions, and this is where I see that data people can also play a critical role, then if they do not communicate possible solutions, and finance team starts to suggest solution instead of describing what they really need,
Oh, yeah. So that suggests to me that data people need to have the strength of presence and be quite assertive, because if they're not, finance people will start making their own conclusions and solutions, and maybe they won't even ask the questions. So, okay, to me, my advice to the data community there is to be really confident, to speak your mind. What would your advice to data people be there from the finance perspective, to ensure that your finance team don't just make those conclusions?
I would suggest, first of all, to have some regular update meetings, just to share what kind of solutions are in the market and what is possible to do with them. And on the other hand, do not push finance people a lot when you're asking for functional requirements. Keep the space, ask them for use case. What do they want to achieve? So that they do not start suggesting you a solution by itself. They should describe what is needed, what is the ideal picture they want to achieve in the end, instead of, it should be a column in Excel and line in Excel, and so that. Just give them opportunity to imagine something unbelievable, let's say, and then check it out, ask questions, check out solutions, and come to them with several proposals. Okay, we have tool A, tool B, tool C. The differences are 1, 2, 3, 4. What we can do, what we can't do, and then make a common decision about with which tool we will go further.
Interesting. So for data people, there's a real balance in the communication style there, and also what they need to get from the requirements from finance people. And what I understood from what you're saying is that the data people should perhaps consider, or ask the finance people to consider, the end goal not the immediate problem. And from looking at the end goal, working backwards to ways that we can reach that end goal. And another point you made was focusing on the needs, on not necessarily the wants, and not focusing on, the immediate table and how to fix that. Did I understand that somewhat accurately?
Yeah,
Mrs. Finance person.
Yes.
Okay, this is good. I wonder, again, from your observations, what's the best kind of operational team setup that you've seen between data and finance?
The best example maybe would be a cross-functional team where I took participation. So we had a huge project where we needed to collect data from sales, marketing, and financial systems for exact goal. Yeah, so we had a certain goal, and we decided to arrange a cross-functional team where we had people from finance, data, marketing, sales, and we have defined one goal for this team, and all of us were responsible for this goal. So if we as a team do not achieve this goal, then each of us do not achieve this goal. And it was a really cool setup because there we didn't have any problems with roles and responsibilities, communications, and so on. We knew that we need to deliver that. And if we saw that somebody is stuck somewhere, then we could jump in, even for other area, which maybe I could support with marketing things, or marketing people participated in some data brainstorming sessions. So we were like one team with one goal.
I see.
We tried to deliver the result together.
Okay. Describe the structure of this one cross-functional team that reached that optimum output.
Yeah. And
sorry, describe the structure. Was it a
we had an agile setup. So we had product owner, we had a person from marketing team, one person from finance, was me, one person from data science department, because we've been working with machine learning models, and one person from sales department.
Okay, and these people, were they embedded within that team only for this project, or was that?
Mostly yes. So they were still placed in their departments, but for almost 6 months, I think, we were in this team. There were no organizational structure changes. We still were in our departments, but we've been working together for this period. And each of us reported our goals and results to our leads. And our leads also had some sort of alignment before we started the project. Okay, I nominate this person to this project, and now I know what he or she is doing.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm familiar with that from the data team perspective, being an embedded approach, and in this case, it was a 6-month project. If that's the best case scenario, or the best case cross-functional operational team setup, what's the worst case, or what's a common case that's not the best?
Common case, I would say, when we have standard org structure, let's say, finance department, some IT department, and data department within IT department. And then each department has different goals and different scope, because data people are working not only with finance, they're working with sales, marketing, supply chain, and so on and so on. And then we as a finance team come to data people and tell them, okay, we want to make a project. First of all, there is a question about capacities. Yeah, we need to align it somewhere at the beginning of the year. But, sometimes some unpredictable things are happening, especially in finance, in case of tax legislation changes or some new requirements from government. We need to have some new report. We cannot predict that. So we have some unplanned projects or initiatives. Then we need to get this capacity somehow and align with data team. Then they would say, okay, this person is assigned to another project. So they're trying to find who will support us. And every time these are different people. And that's it makes things complicated because you need to explain again and again and again about some financial standard things like what is invoice value, tax value, what is invoice, what is revenue, what is accounts receivable, accounts payable, partners, vendors, customers, all the things you need to explain. And next month you come to this data team again and they assign another person and you need to restart. That's and in the end we still have different goals and roles and responsibilities split by, there is a border. And sometimes it's even not like a border, but some space because there is something not covered by anyone. And then you start this cycle of discussions about, okay, we have this area, we don't know who is responsible for it. Let's discuss who will take this part. We need to align it, and nothing is happening in terms of implementation.
Interesting. Okay. But rather, okay, so when they were cross-functional, the data and the finance and sales and marketing teams were embedded. They were totally focused and their priority was on one objective, and that was the shared objective. And when it was the other way around, you experienced that each team had their own priorities and they didn't always sync up, and then they had different capacities, and there was misinformation, or maybe not lacking information, not to be confused with fake news or anything. There was information that was lacking, so the finance people then had to repeat and kind of reteach all those priorities and data points to the data people. Okay.
Yes, and in the second scenario, it's also there are many challenges with regards to the goals and success measurement. Because in most of the cases, a data team or technical team has a goal like to implement solution. And okay, we have that implemented, we have achieved our goal, but for finance team, it's not the goal to implement the thing. The goal is to have some solutions that would solve their problem. And sometimes something is implemented, but it does not solve the issue. And then at data side, the goal is achieved, and at finance side, the goal is not achieved.
Okay. So yeah, they need to get aligned on those shared or they need to make those goals shared to find alignment in that regard. Okay. How do you think the finance team members could help the data team members to be more effective at doing what they do with the finance team?
I think here, again, communication is everything. Yeah. First of all, it makes sense to have some initial call and to talk about ways of working. Like what kind of information does data team need for implementing something? In which language it should be written? What is the area of responsibility? Because also in different companies, there are different org structures. And it doesn't mean that data team in company A is doing same things as data team in company B. Yeah, you need to check it out and ask about it openly, so that to identify areas where you need to invite somebody else, maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah, so then some templates for documentation processes, like how do you start project? What do we need to do in order to have your capacities even for unplanned projects, for example? So to define rules of the game at the beginning and to try to understand their perspective. What is their goal? What would help them, or what would make them look good in eyes of their team leads, for example? Help each other, and then you will be successful. It's
Okay.
something to take care about each other. It's some human being.
Yes, right. Finding an understanding through communicating better, and as well as communicating better, having templates or documents, and constantly checking back on those templates to ensure that we're living up to how we should be. Okay. Thanks for sharing that today. I think in coming back to the communication topic, we found our missing piece. Would you agree?
I hope so.
Okay. So yeah, data and finance people communicate better together. I wonder in kind of closing, and it's a different topic. It's a topic that comes to mind more and more at the moment, and that is about AI. And I wonder if it's had any, well, firstly, has the topic of AI had any impact on your work in finance yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, well, I won't say whether that's a good or a bad thing. Do you believe it will have an impact in the future?
I believe it will have impact, but AI, it's something on top of the pyramid. You can do great things when you have good basis. And in finance, from finance perspective, good basis is correct data. And here we have what is correct data in finance. It's first of all correctly produced data in SAP or ERP systems, first of all, correctly connected data when we are talking about integrity with several source systems. And here where
Yes.
data team plays crucial role, and data quality and all these things. If we have this basic layer fixed and working perfectly, then with AI solutions, we can produce many insights. We can automate many things, and we will definitely have, we will need to spend less time for some repetitive tasks, for this all annoying things that real people need to do right now, because most of the things that accounting departments are doing is about clarifications. You need to open document, check it out, what is going on, what did what, and go for some clarifications. Or you need to build some regular reports. This can be automated if we have a sufficient level of data quality and data accuracy. And then finance people will have more time to analyze results and to capture insights and to become real business partners for sales, for marketing, for all these departments, which should be connected with financial data and should make decisions based on data, and especially financial data.
Interesting. So clearly you see a great impact of AI in the finance domain, and that is to say that the automation of repetitive tasks would be possible on the condition that the foundations of accuracy and quality are there. Mariia, thank you very much for today. I really appreciate your kind of candor and your openness about talking about the realities of how those kind of two divisions or two teams work together, finance and data. And I think next time, with your apparent interest in the whole impact of AI, that could be a future topic. For any finance or data people who have interests in this topic, feel free to message either myself or Mariia. And until next time, everybody, thanks very much. And thank you once again, Mariia.